Okay, so hi, I'm Will Warren. I'm the community manager for the Thousand Brains project. I'm primarily responsible for the OSS community. But as you can see from the dotted line, the community is impacting everything we do at the Thousand Brains project. So we're excited to get started with you. So who am I? I'm Brainwaves on the forum. I'm Will Warren on LinkedIn, and I'm wwarren at thousandbrains.org by email. I love it when the community reaches out and has conversations with me, so please don't be shy, feel free. I'm available on all these channels. Okay, so you have taken an interest in Monty's Island, this new form of machine intelligence, and you want to get started. So you buy yourself a boat and you head on over to the open source community harbor, and you look upon the landscape and are overwhelmed by the number of possibilities that you can contribute to. These are all available for the community to have a look at. If something excites you here and you want to work at it, this will be a great opportunity to get involved with the project. So how do you get started? The primary place to go is the thousandbrains.org website. This is a high-level overview of the entire project, the company, the people involved, the insights into the neocortex and the principles that we've derived there, and also links to all the other resources that you have available to you. So it's a good place to start. We also have this contact list, an email distribution list at thousandbrains.org/contact. We send emails out to this list about 5 times a year with important events such as this meetup, but also papers that we've released and so on. You can also contact us on LinkedIn or Twitter or Blue Sky, and that information is on the website. So one of the best ways of getting started and understanding Monty and the Thousand Brains project is our YouTube channel, where we publish all of our videos, our research meetings. They all go up onto YouTube that you can watch. And then we also have this playlist we affectionately call Quick Start, which is about 9 hours of videos. But it's really important and explains all the underpinnings and the paradigm shifts that you have to go through to understand Monty and what the Thousand Brains theory talks about. So this is a great playlist to get started. Kind of the main hub whether we interact with the community is on our forum at thousandbrains.discourse.group. The entire company hangs out here and answers questions and interacts with the community. And so it's a great place to come and ask questions. If you get stuck somewhere, you can ask for help. And if you find interesting research, you can post that on here and we can discuss it. We also post all of our videos back to YouTube as links here. And so we can have discussions around the video content that we're producing as well. Here's an example of a post from Matthew, who was interested in understanding more about how reference frames relate to cortical columns. So please come to the forum and introduce yourself. There's also an introductions channel where you can just say, hi, this is me. We also have the code, as Hojay has shown, on GitHub, Thousand Brains Project /tbp.monty. This is where all of our Python code lives, all the source code for our docs and all the source code for all the tools and visualizations that Rami has showed, that all lives here. And this is kind of primarily where you can make code and documentation changes. We also have a documentation server on thousandbrainsproject.readme.io, and this is an exhaustive overview of all the information that we have when we know about Monty and Thousand Brains Project. If you scroll down to the bottom of this main page, there are some great technical resources for getting started with the project in the form of our papers. And there are kind of 7 main sections to the documentation. This is the 6 of them. I'm not going to go through all of these in detail, but I'll just call out a few important pieces. So over in the overview section, there are our benchmark experiments, which show you how Monty is performing against our data sets and experiments. In the how to use Monty section, which is where you'll get started, there's the getting started guide for how to install the software on your machine. And then tutorials for actually running experiments and seeing Monty work in the wild. And just to note that you do not need GPUs to run Monty. It runs natively on CPU-based laptops, so you don't need expensive machines to get this working. And then over in the how Monty works, we have an overview of exactly how all the modules relate to each other within the Monty code base, how learning modules work, how you can connect them into heterarchy, how sensor modules work and the environment, and so on and so forth. And then a section near and dear to me is contributing, how you contribute to the project, how you contribute to documentation, tutorials, pull requests, which Jeremy's going to talk about next, and our request for comments process, which I'm not going to cover here, but it's an interesting way if you want to start work on bigger pieces of work in the project. Then we have the community section, which talks about our code of conduct, governance, license and patent pledge, which Vivian mentioned. And then a project showcase section. So if you've built something in the real world with Monty and you want to create a pull request and show it off in this section of our docs, we would welcome that. And then a neuroscience and theory section where we talk about all the papers that we reference in our work and the papers that we've produced on top of those. There's also the 7th section, which is a very large section called future work. And so this is essentially our roadmap for the next few years of work that we are going to be working on, that you are welcome and excited to see your contributions to here as well. Each one of these subsections has multiple documents underneath it, between 5 and 10 pieces of future work that we're interested in. I'm not going to go through all of those now, but I will reference them in an interactive widget that we built that allows you to find interesting pieces of work, which is located on the project roadmap, which looks like this. So this is the future work widget. It's essentially a table of all of the future work items. And on the left, you can see the title of them. And then you can see the scope of work, the small, medium, and large, the status of them, open, paused, and completed. The metric this improves, compositional generalization, and then the skills that we think you'll need in order to attempt these future work items. And this is interactive, so you can filter by it. You can say, I'm interested in state, and I have a skill of refactoring, so show me all the pieces of work that conform to that. You can see that some are in progress. You can see that Tristan is scoping this one. And so maybe we click on this include state in models, and we go to the detail view of that, and we get an overview of all of the information we have about that piece of future work for you to get started on. So yeah, so if anything here excites you or you're interested in getting started, this is a good place to have a look at. So what areas can you contribute to? As I mentioned, you can contribute to everywhere on this map. A great place to get started is enabling a rough rule. So we have a linting system on our code base. And if you enable one of these rules, you'll get a whole bunch of errors in our code base. And if you go through and fix those, it's a great way to get started understanding the pull request process, and it cleans our code up and makes it better for everyone in the community to use. So we have like a whole bunch of these rules being enabled by Kava and Maymay. So thank you guys for that. You can contribute to the platform and framework for larger pieces of work on the future roadmap. Things like combining the data loader and data set into a single environment interface class, which really moves us towards a nomenclature of a sensory motor system as opposed to the kind of nomenclature of deep learning, which uses data sets and data loader. And so while this looks like a simple refactor, it was actually an enormous amount of work. So thank you, Anna, for doing that and committing it. You can contribute to scaling the system. Xavier over at ETH Zurich has been looking at process in memory chips and how we can embed learning modules in those chips and then scale the system at the chip level. And we feel like this may be similar to how GPUs have helped deep learning scale. And so we're interested to see the outputs of these results. So thank you, Xavier. You can contribute to optimization. So here we see Colin, who has worked closely with Tristan to look at backing learning modules with GPUs to see if we can speed them up. Again, you don't need GPUs in order to do this. This was just an optimization. And we also recorded these as videos between Colin and Tristan and published them on YouTube so other people can watch these videos and get involved that way. You can contribute to the simulator. So Agent Rev here has been working on simplifying the simulator protocol and optimizing it. And so this is a number of pull requests that he's made, and this is ongoing work, but it will allow us in the future to switch out the simulator more easily and choose different ones. You can contribute to communication of the project. In this case, Greg Robinson has been producing some fantastic blog posts applying the 1,000 brains theory to kind of interesting human psychology. Artem Kirsanov has created a beautiful YouTube explanation of the 1,000 Brains project and how cortical columns work. And it's really beautiful. It's a great introduction to a sensory motor system. I highly recommend watching that. Matthew has produced beautiful visuals that have improved the flow of the documentation. Agent Rev, again, has created a tutorial for installing Monty on Windows. And we have subsequently rolled that into our official documentation. So thank you, Agent Rev. And here you can see a really small change, just a single line change from Twin Tails, who was fixing a broken link from one of our social media platforms on the documentation. So it doesn't have to be huge. Every little bit helps. You can contribute to real world examples. So here we can see Zachary at Loughborough University is going to be embedding Monty in a robot. And so we're excited to see that work progress over the next little while. Another real world application was enabled when Butterfly Ultrasound gave us a probe on loan. And at our robot hackathon, we built an end-to-end process for Monty recognizing objects at the ultrasound level, which was a new modality we hadn't considered before. You can contribute to sensor modules. So here we can see the Penn State Computer Science department is helping us out by improving feature extraction recognition at the sensor module level. And you can help the community in general. So here we can see a whole bunch of people that have been helping out and asking questions and answering questions of other community members on the forum and posting interesting information on Twitter and our social media platforms as well. And as Vivian mentioned, we are partially funded by the Gates Foundation and the Ketty Institute, but we are now a registered charity. So if you're interested in financially supporting us, you can take that avenue as well. So with that, thank you to all our supporters, all the contributors for getting involved in the work. This is really a community engagement opportunity for all of us, and we're excited to see what work we get done in the future. So we hope you enjoy your mugs. And so with that, I'll end it and say, please join us, go to thousandbrains.org or come to our forum and say hello. Also, if you are interested in basing your master's or PhD thesis on Monty, please get in touch. We'd love to have a conversation with you and figure out how we can support you through that process. And with that, I'll hand it over to Jeremy, who's going to talk through the pull request process and how you can make changes to our code base, the docs, and the tools. Take it away, Jeremy.